Hey everybody, I know I did a video earlier today already. I guess I'm just feeling ambitious. My voice sounds a little bit different. It's because of my lovely allergies. So today was the 50th anniversary of the Civil Rights Act, and we got in a little bit of a discussion when I was interning today about Lyndon Johnson, and so I thought I'd do a video about Lyndon Johnson. I think Lyndon Johnson is honestly one of the most underrated presidents we've ever had. Um, Vietnam really drug him down. And I'm not excusing Vietnam. I think he did some incredibly evil shit with Vietnam. But if you look at what he did, domestic policy, damn good president. Seriously, really good president. The Great Society programs were basically the biggest extension of Franklin Roosevelt's New Deal um, ever, ever since FDR. Um, he was just a master of the Senate. Could get things passed that I don't think anybody else could have gotten passed. And this is this. You can question the morality of this. He effectively used the assassination of President Kennedy to accomplish some of the greatest social reforms we've ever seen. Um, and I think it was a good thing to do because I think those were things Kennedy believed in anyway. Um, and also, people forget that Vietnam, the very first peacekeepers that were sent to Vietnam were sent under Kennedy. It's not like this was exclusively a Johnson problem. And Richard Nixon also expanded the war in Vietnam into Cambodia before it eventually ended. Um, but anyway, yeah, just look at what Lyndon Johnson passed. He passed the Civil Rights Act, Title 19, Medicare. These are some of the biggest um, progressive reforms we've ever seen, and he effectively did it because he was the only guy who could have. um, he was in the right place at the right time because he knew that uh, fulfilling the agenda of a martyred president would would be a very popular sell on the American people, and he had the courage to honestly enact legislation that he knew would be politically very damaging to his party, and I commend him for that. There's this famous quote he said after the passage of the Civil Rights Act, we've lost the South. Democrats have lost the South for a generation, and it's still true. Richard Nixon used the Southern strategy to, gin up white resentment about equal rights for African Americans, equal voting rights. So yeah, that's the thing about Lyndon Johnson is he was a political genius. This guy, he would literally round up votes by doing what was called the treatment. The treatment is where he would basically corner people. This guy was really tall. He was like 6'6". He'd corner senators. He'd just lean over them and say, "You're gonna support my bill, right? You're gonna support it, right?" Uh, and that apparently worked. He got major legislation through. He also won. He showed how to obliterate a Republican. The 1964 election, when he went against Barry Goldwater, he just obliterated Goldwater. It was just scorched earth how he went after him and how he showed the contrast. Every Democrat should study the 1964 Democratic campaign against Barry Goldwater. He marginalized him. He totally just chipped away at his credibility. and while bolstering his own accomplishments. It was glorious. um, and not only that, it was one of the biggest landslides ever. I think it was literally the largest. I know margin of victory was the largest of a Democratic president. It might have been electorally too. So Lyndon Johnson, honestly, I think is a very underrated president. I'd put him in my top 10, maybe my top 5. I've got um, you know what? That might be my next video, my top 5 presidents. Yeah, Lyndon Johnson, I think, is really underrated, and just seeing all these media coverage, all this media coverage of Lyndon Johnson and the Civil Rights Act made me think about that. So, yeah, Lyndon Johnson, I think, very underappreciated president. Anyway, if you like my videos, subscribe. If you like video games, subscribe, because if you take a look at all my videos, half of them are about stuff like this, history, philosophy, politics. But the other half is about electronics, computers, gaming culture, and video games themselves. Uh, Earlier today, I did a PS4 review. So, yeah, if you like that type of stuff, I would encourage you to like this video and subscribe down there. I'll catch you later.